Hello and welcome to Ann Arbor Skyline High School for City TV's broadcast of the Ann Arbor Skyline Eagles versus the Huron River Rats here in a rubber match of volleyball. With me as always is Pete Poyer. Pete, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Nick. How are you?
Outstanding. Looking forward to this fun match.
And Huron will have service. Emily Dodge will serve for Huron. Well, there's the whistle, and we are underway. Nice tip over the net for Skyline, and they draw first blood and get the first point. Or rather, it's out of bounds. That is a point for Huron. Nice block there. Still controlled by Skyline. They send it over the net. And the kill for Huron. Looked like Kim Spryer on the kill. Check that, that's Kara Vilatel with the kill for Huron for their second point of the match.
It was Kara Vilatel, the other captain, along with Emily Dodge here, who's still serving.
Tried to feed Vilatel for the kill once again, dug out this time by Skyline. And the kill by Peyton Richardson for Huron. Oh, Huron opening up on a roll, Nick.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. You go into your opponent's home court, their home bird bath, as we say, and you get on board early. Well, Pete, it doesn't take a whole lot to figure out that their main goal thus far is to set up Kara Vilatel.
And just to let you know, Nick, this is a gym. So this is the bird cage.
This is the bird cage. That is my fault.
And the pool is the bird bath.
That makes so much more sense currently. Thank you for that.
That's all right. That's what I'm here to do, help you out.
Please correct me as much as possible this evening. There we'll see Huron coach Tony Kummer. This is actually his 7th year as head coach of the River Rats, 13th in total at Huron High School.
Head coach for Skyline, Deanna Day, and assistant coaches Doug Day and Rachel Patterson. Emily Dodge, who opened the match on service, still serving. Nice dig by Dodge. Again, feeding Vilatel with the kill down the line. And another point for Huron.
And Huron looks like they've got that play completely set up, completely down, really. Again, Kara Vilatel, the senior, not the biggest girl on the court, but she's got some power behind those shots.
Oh, feeding Vilatel again, this time with the dink over the net. Saved by Skyline. And that ball drops in, and Skyline's first point of the game.
And here was Vilatel with not the spike, but just a little dipsy do-over, and gives Skyline a chance to jump up and slam one through.
And a nice block by Skyline on the kill attempt by Vilatel. And another point for Skyline.
Vilatel didn't quite have the air under that one that she needed or wanted.
Back serving for Skyline is Danielle Mitroy. And it's just a 2-point contest now after Huron's initial 5-point run. Well, Huron scoring 5 unanswered, and now Huron coming back with 4 of their own.
It's number 15, Emma Heaton, couldn't quite get the dig on that one.
Well, good timeout by Deanna Day, the coach for Skyline. That serve is too long and out.
Yeah, that's a great call, Pete. Whatever she told them, however she told them to adjust accordingly, they've done it nicely.
Well, I think really the big key after that timeout was seeing that they were feeding Violetel for the kill and getting some blockers up in front of Violetel, making it harder for her to accomplish what they had done so far.
You know, it could have also just been a rhythm breaker as well.
Oh, another point for Skyline. That ball off of Chichi Nwaneri for Huron. That point out of bounds. It looked like that might have been off a Skyline blocker, but point for Skyline, and this knocks it up at 6 in this first game. Scenic, they switched the field on Violetel. They put her over on the other side of the court. Skyline was still able to make the block. Changing things up a little bit results in a Huron point.
Well, it might just be a sense of almost like a spy in football. Just keep an eye on her and double team wherever she goes.
Well, Violetel will serve. Big block for Huron. Skyline just able to get it over the net. And a kill for Skyline, and it's tied again. That serve just over the net. Violetel's attempted kill into the net. Oh, point for Skyline, and they take their first lead of game number 1. That's Serena Cowan serving for Skyline.
There was a touching the net violation there by Skyline.
Oh, point for Huron. And guess what, Nick? We're tied again.
All even at 8.
Looked like Huron would run away with this, opening up 5-0 to start game 1. Nice rally back by the Eagles.
Yeah, definitely a well-timed timeout, as we mentioned, to switch up the momentum. And we've got a match on our hands. And on our televisions.
Nice dig there. And a bad hit. And Skyline takes the point.
Just a bit of a mishit there by Peyton Carlock.
Celia Arson serving for Skyline. Off the hands of Peters, couldn't handle it on that serve. And Skyline out to a 3-point advantage. And Huron will call timeout. So after that 5-0 start by Huron, Skyline outscores Huron 11-3.
Yeah, Skyline's definitely seems like they've got control of what they need to do here in this second portion of the match, I guess you could call it, after that first time out. Now it sounds like it's Huron's turn to bring the troops together, rally them, maybe a little bit of a momentum breaker, and see where they can go from here.
Well, players get their last instructions and head back out onto the court.
You can see all the orange ribbons in the players' hairs. They having an orange out here at Ann Arbor Skyline. An orange out in support of Chad Carr and family. Run with the hashtag Chad Tough.
Kill by Violetel. Looked like that was off a Skyline player. And point for Huron.
Yeah, one of the Skyline players got underneath of that, probably much to her own chagrin, because that was coming in hot. We'll see Violetel from a ways. I'm not sure if number 7 there just didn't see that entirely, but it seemed like she got it off the upper half.
Well, it's coming in so fast, I don't think Jacobson really had time to move out of the way. And that's a floor hit on the attempted dig. Point for Huron. And the home crowd doesn't like it.
The Skyline faithful says that one was good. Here we'll take a closer look at that one. Oh, and that definitely came between the hands. But you know what? If you don't hear a whistle right away, keep playing it.
Well, again, effective timeout. Huron down 3. They come back, score 3 straight, and tie this up at 11.
That seems to be the name of the game thus far.
And that tip out of bounds. Another point for Huron.
Trying for a little precision hit there on the side. Try to just sneak it into the end line, but not quite effective.
Great attempt there is trying to get that where no Huron player was. Just a touch out of bounds.
Hit it where they ain't. It applies to lots of sports, apparently.
Nice block by Welch. That was a good series, a good volley by both teams back and forth on that point.
Great back and forth on that one. Unfortunately, Karina Peters, number 12 for Huron, just couldn't quite finish it off.
I think the issue there was she hit the ball while the ball was on the way down, which lent itself into going into the net.
Outstanding call.
And a nice job there, a little misdirection by Welch on the kill. Looked like she was going one way and hit it the other and got the Huron point.
Yeah, I feel like once the other team really trains in on some of the big hitters, it's all about, like you said, misdirection at that point and changing up your velocity.
And back to old reliable Violetel for the kill. And Huron back to a 2-point advantage. You see both these teams are really evenly matched as they've just been back and forth so far in this game.
No, you can definitely see that with both squads. And again, you know, these teams have played each other a lot. This is obviously SEC Red matchup. But again, this is the third time that this season that these two squads have met. And again, Skyline taking the very early game early in the season, and Huron just coming out with a victory, I think about 2 weeks ago now.
Oh, Heaton on the ace there. The Huron 3-point advantage. And a great job there, as you said, Nick, hitting it where they ain't. Well, Skyline comes back. to break up that run for Huron. Nice speed to Violetel, and that dig is way out of bounds. Point for Huron.
Got to be pretty tough to try to soften that blow and keep it on the court still. Again, Violetel's just got a lot of power coming off from that corner.
And good defensive Violetel's kill there. Great block by Skyline. Oh, nice block by Richardson. And point for Huron. And those teams will score to 25 and must win by at least 2 points. A little miscommunication there on the Huron side of the net, and Skyline takes advantage.
Look like that's Captain Claire Fendrick, excuse me, Claire Fendrick, about to serve it up.
And that kill is long. Point for Skyline, and we're tied again at 17. And that serve just over the net, scored as an ace for Skyline, and they take the lead.
The proverbial favorable bounce on that one.
Was Fendrick back there serving? Excellent kill by Violetel.
You know, Pete, we talk about kills, spikes, digs. There's some violent terminology in this sport. I've never really thought about that before. Something for you to take home with you.
Food for thought, eh, Nick?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful kill there by Richardson. Just setting that right above the net, and she just slammed it to the floor for the Huron point. That's served by Violetel out of bounds. And it'll tie it up once again, this time at 19. And another nice kill by Richardson. Another point for Huron.
And a great setup there by Huron. I think most of the Skyline players thought she was going forward, and she just kind of dipped it back a little bit.
And Richardson with the ace this time. And we have another timeout. Well, we'll see if this timeout will be as effective as the others have been.
Yeah, every timeout has thus far signaled some sort of momentum shift. I'm sure, hopefully, Coach Deanna Day is thinking the same thing once again.
Timeout over. Both teams back on the floor. Richardson serving once again for Huron. And 4 hits by Huron. Well, point for Skyline. Kill into the net and tied at 21. And big kill by Violetel, blocked out, and point for Huron. Nearing the end of this game 1, Nick, and it's really anybody's game.
Oh, absolutely. Again, like we talked about, momentum has gone back and forth. It's just all about catching a nice streak.
Violetel's kill attempt into the net. Long, point for Skyline. Timeout was effective.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be. Once again, that momentum
4 points
shift.
To 1.
Yep.
And they're just 2 away from winning game number 1. And that gives Skyline another point, and that's game point. Huron comes back and scores the points. Staves off elimination in game 1, and it's 24 for Skyline, 23 for Huron.
Yeah, Huron definitely coming up clutch in the face of elimination there. Now we'll see what Huron can do.
Another game point for Skyline. Great dig. Back and forth. And that'll do it for game number 1. Skyline scores the point, and they win game 1, 25-23. We're going to take a quick break and be back with game 2 action here on City TV Sports.
Watching FYI. Beta Murray played college ball for the University of Michigan and even had offers from the NFL.
The Humane Society of Huron Valley will care for over 10,000 animals this year alone.
This grant is going to go a long way in helping to further the mission of sustainable communities.
You're watching. Why not?
And we're back for Game 2 action here on City TV Sports. Hope you enjoyed all the action in Game 1 as Skyline came away with that 25-23 victory and a tight match or game the entire way, Nick.
Thrilling victory, some would say, Pete. Again, 25-23 victory for the home Skyline Eagles on that first one, but it was really a very back-and-forth game. Just a tale of a few different matches. As we talked about, it seemed like after every timeout there was a momentum swing. But Skyline really had the crowd behind them and just tons and tons of energy for those final few points. Electric atmosphere.
Well, both teams back on the floor, getting ready to start Game 2. Referee Hagan making sure all the rules are followed.
Every last one of them. I's dotted, T's crossed, and all of that other good stuff.
She came over here and made me tie my shoe.
There you can see Kim Hagan right there. This is actually her 31st year doing volleyball.
All teams switch sides. Mitroy will serve for Skyline to start Game 2, and her service is into the net. And Huron with the point. Tip back over the net. Skyline will reset. And that ball way long.
That's the old bread and butter that Huron's going to try to set up probably for the rest of the evening here with Kara Violetal.
Well, that off of a Skyline player, point for Huron. And the second straight serve by Skyline into the net, this time by Fendrick. Handing the point and the ball directly back to Huron. Now Violetal serving. And an attempted kill down the line by Allie Austin, the other captain for Skyline, off the net, point for Huron.
See, Violetal kind of comes from the side there before she goes up and goes forward. Kind of an interesting serve.
Kind of like a little bit of a wind-up.
Yeah, exactly.
Huron with another point. And that's served by Violetal, too long, out of bounds, point for Skyline. And Cowan will come into the game to serve for Skyline. Great change of directions on the kill, but a great dig by Skyline. give credit on that dig by Marie Jacobson, and Skyline gets the point.
Yeah, great dig, great recovery. You couldn't see quite how high that ball went. That thing was almost in the rafters.
And that ball just dropping in on the line. Point for Skyline, and we're tied at 4.
And hard to blame Emily Dodge on that one. You definitely heard somebody shout out. You saw her step out of the way, and it was not, in fact, out.
Good block by Richardson for Huron. Skyline will keep it alive. And the trick shot by Richardson, dinking it over the net and down, and good for a Huron point.
Great little fake there by Peyton Richardson. And now she'll serve it up.
That served by Richardson, out of bounds. Point for Skyline.
And as expected, Pete, evenly contested match right here for the game here in game 2.
It's Claire Morville serving for Skyline. She comes up with a dig as well. Another great dig by Skyline's Megan Sackman. And on the kill, they come up with the point and take the lead.
Skyline seemed to really earn that point there, Pete. They had bodies all over the floor, kept everything alive. Great point for Skyline on that one.
I have a point for Skyline, net violation.
Coach Day there rooting on her girls.
Another nice dig by Morville. And that point. That point went to Skyline. We have a timeout on the floor. Huron with the timeout. Skyline with a 3-point advantage now.
And here we'll see Skyline come up with this one. That really high shot, you just got to sit and wait on that. But just couldn't quite keep that one, and Emily Dodge called it right from the get-go. Didn't make it in.
Looked like they may have called that off of the Huron player on the attempted block as it came over the net.
I think you're right on that one. And just as a reminder, you can see this and so many other Ann Arbor sporting events if you go to youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor. All of those games in beautiful, beautiful high def.
Scintillating. Back underway, service by Skyline. And that ball is out. Point for Skyline. Into the net, point for Skyline. And Skyline's actual biggest advantage so far in either one of game 1 or game 2. 5 points at 10-5.
And they're definitely on a roll right here, Pete.
And that is contrary to what happened in game 1 out of the timeout taken by Huron. Usually that would stop the rally, but Skyline able to continue.
Yeah, Huron definitely having a tough time stopping the bleeding, and Skyline just rolls on.
Well, whistle before the serve. Some type of Huron violation results in a Skyline point.
Some sort of a motion penalty maybe, or improper stance.
Skyline just rolling up the points right now. Did that game 1 loss by Huron, the tight contest, break their back this early in the match?
You know, I'd really refuse to believe that. I really think the Skyline is just in the zone right now. They're just in that groove, and everything they're doing is right. And they're just playing great volleyball.
Some really good communication on the part of the Skyline players. And another point for Skyline. Biggest advantage by either team in either one of these games, leading by 9. And we might see another Huron timeout here pretty soon. There's Violetel, and that stops the bleeding, and it gives Huron the point.
If you were going to see it from somebody, it definitely would have been Captain Kara Violetel on that one. You can see nice pullback, nice redirection of her body there to still get that ball over.
A little bit of a drop shot as that ball was spinning downwards. And another point for Skyline. And that Skyline team is fired up right now.
They got some of the faithful in the crowd now, too. I see some of their student section filing in. You might be able to hear them.
Austin serving for Skyline. Nice dig there by Austin. No call on the point. Not sure the referees could decide who was at fault there. Well, we'll just continue the play. Skyline up 15-7. Call it 16-7.
And little bumps in the road aren't slowing Skyline down at all. Like I said, they seem to really, really be in the groove right now, regardless of who's serving, which side, which player. And a 9-point advantage here. They're just looking very, very good in the second game.
Sackman with the serve. Nice block there by Skyline. Really nice play by Jenny Clancy, one of the captains for Skyline. And it's a 10-point bulge for the Eagles over the River Rats. Another great block by Clancy, and another point for Skyline.
And you know, one defining characteristic of this second game, Pete, it really seems like they found an answer for Kara Violetel. They've had 2 blockers in front of her the whole time.
They're also serving straight to her as well when she's on the back line. And that ball just out of bounds, point for Huron. Well, honestly, they could trade points the rest of the way, and Skyline would easily cruise to victory at this point.
Skyline would have no problem with that. The whole thing that they need to do is make sure that Huron doesn't get on that roll that they had in that first game.
Excellent point, Nick. Huge block by Sackman, but that headed out of bounds. Another point for Huron.
That shot had some power. Again, being down here on the floor, you can see it so well. Hopefully with those cameras up there, you can really kind of get a feel for some of the energy that's coming off of these.
And a kill for Clancy. And another point for Skyline. They retain their 10-point advantage.
There you see that ball from Violetel. Again, she was just right on it, still got it way up.
That ball looked like it was traveling 100 miles an hour off of her fist.
Definitely had some speed.
Another kill by Violetel. That puts Huron in double digits.
Ellie Austin with the attempted dig on that one, but just not much she could really do about that one.
And that kill out of bounds. Point for Huron. They're starting to rally back just a little bit.
Yeah, they're chipping away a little bit, Pete, but it's like you said, Skyline would happily trade points at this point in the game, but they wouldn't be happy with it. Apparently that's a point for Skyline on that one, so the score is 20-10 currently. Skyline in the lead.
And a great block and tip over the net by Skyline. That was Allie Austin. That's sort of off the side of the hand of Emily Tyner, out of bounds. Point for Huron.
Maybe the adrenaline just getting a little too much for him there.
Violetel on the serve for Huron. And that ball out of bounds. Another point for Huron. Still 9-point advantage for the Eagles. Great reflexes there by both teams on that exchange. Really good rally. And a great block by Clancy. And another point for Skyline.
And that
gives them 22.
That back and forth action is exactly what the faithful paid for here. That was a great back and forth. As you mentioned, great reaction time by all the players on that one.
And that pause by Nick Wisniewski as he reached down to grab a ball heading our way. Nice job on the save there, Nick.
Trying to keep us all safe here, Pete.
All right. Well, if Violetel sends one of her 100-mile-an-hour aces our way, you're going to get in the way and block it, right?
Yeah, you hiding behind me would be quite a sight, actually.
Cowan can't save that one. Another point for Huron.
Outstanding effort on that one, though. Trying to get low and absorb as much of that as possible. Just couldn't get it going back forward.
And Skyline scoring just enough points to keep their big advantage in this game. They're within 3 of closing out game number 2. Huron serving. Point for Huron. Nice kill there for Skyline.
Here we'll see that spike from Austin. Took a little off of it when she saw those two Huron players in front of her. Just a little redirection on that one.
Oh, Violetel off the hands of Fendrick, and Fendrick may have been best off letting that one go. That one looked like that was heading out of bounds.
Not a whole lot of time to sit there and debate that point when it's coming at you, though, you know.
Emily Cole will serve for Huron. Nice misdirection attempt by Skyline, but Huron there to respond. And the ball fall between all of the Skyline players. No one there to try and dig that one out. Oh, Huron creeping back into this match. They're just down 6 now. Skyline a little bit off that roll they had earlier in this game.
And there you can see Coach Tony Cummer probably telling his girls, just chip it away 1 point at a time. You're not going to get all 5 points in one opportunity, so 1 point at a time and keep chipping away.
Oh, Skyline with a couple of 10-point advantages in this game. And that a kill attempt out of bounds, and Skyline with the point. And a game point for Skyline. Austin with the serve for Skyline. And that one off the hands of the Huron player, and another win for Skyline. They take game 2, 25-18. We'll take another break and come back with game 3 action here on City TV Sports. Telling you, and all the stick momentarily, and into the end zone.
Great throw, just got that toe
The shot is partially blocked by Kelly, and the fans are flooding the court. And a goal! Pass to Skull. Skull with a shot and over the head of
the Let me ask you a question. What do you value? How about access to your child's education, their football game, their swim meet, their high school musical, their academic future? Does that matter? What about your access to your government, your police, fire, and public safety, parks and recreation activities, state and local officials, the folks you elect to make decisions for your community? Is that worth anything to you? What about your rights, freedom of speech, to communicate your message, to let your voice be heard? That's got to count for something, right? So let me ask you again, what do you value? How about public, educational, and government access television, It belongs to you. Let's keep it that way.
And welcome back to the campus of Skyline High School for Skyline Huron women's volleyball at the start of Game 3. Skyline taking games 1 and 2. And we'll see if they can go for the sweep as we're underway. Huron serving. Emily Dodge with the serve for Huron. And a big kill by Violatel. And Huron will take the first points in game number 3.
And that was a near mirror image of the very first game with Violatel starting out and Huron starting out with those big hits.
Feeding Violatel, good block there by Skyline. And they can't block this kill off of a Skyline player. Another point for Huron.
Might be some magic in that corner, that sideline over there for Violatel.
Well, and frankly, their backs are against the wall in this match, down 0-2.
Yeah, nobody wants to get swept by their rivals. Nobody wants to get swept by anybody, but especially about those from those folks across the way.
Skyline looks a little bit back on their heels in game 3 here. And that kill long, so Skyline gets the points. Just a little miscommunication there.
Yeah, that was definitely a I've got it, you've got it. Nobody's got it on that one.
And the point awarded to Huron. Just like Skyline's side of the ball has a little bit of trouble with communication here early in game 3. And the tip off the hands of the Huron player, point for Skyline. Fendrick back to serve for the Eagles. And that attempted kill by Violatel into the net. And that'll tie it at 4.
And you got to wonder if you're going to see one of those patented timeouts here to try to slow things down.
That serve just long. Actually, that's in.
There's a little miscommunication there by the Huron backline. You see that one coming right over. And both players kind of let it go, thinking maybe that the other would get it or just that it was going to go out, but misjudged it a little bit.
Another point for Skyline. It looked like that was hit out of bounds and went off of a Skyline player. point awarded to Skyline. Skyline 6 and Huron 4. And that ball out of bounds, so point for Huron.
Let's take a quick look at that controversial point that went Skyline's way on that last one. Yeah, it sure looked like it went off the Skyline player's hands. Maybe it's incidental contact.
Yeah, Huron with the good communication in this game 3. Another point for them. And we're back tied at 6. Nice block by Huron there. And again. And a nice, kind of a shifty hit over the net and into the floor. Looked like they were bracing for the hard shot, and they got the soft one, and it fell to the floor.
Dandy effort by the Huron players to go for that one, but couldn't quite get there.
And another nice kill by Austin, and another point by the Eagles. And they restake their 2-point advantage, 8-6. Cowan back serving. And a nice block by Huron. And the point given to Skyline must have been blocked out of bounds. And Cowan will hit it into the net. So give the point and the service back to the River Rats, rather. Now Peyton Richardson serving. That one way wide.
This was roughly the point last game, Pete, where things started to get away from the River Rats, so I'm sure that they're trying to think about not letting any big momentum shifts go against them currently. Hopefully get this point back and get back into this thing.
And to this point in game 3, no timeouts called as of yet.
I believe that's going to be Huron point.
That stayed on the Huron side of the net. They'll give the point to the Eagles. A little deceptive. It looked like it could have gone on either side of the net there.
And I think maybe even the players out on the court, despite how close they were, might have thought the same thing.
A giant kill by Violetel. Attempted dig will sail out of bounds. Another point for the River Rats. Well, 2-point advantage for the Eagles, 11-9. A nice dig on the Violetel kill attempt there. And they're just going to feed it back to Kara Violetel. And she gets the kill once again.
Unofficially, I've got her for 4 kills so far in this game, but I'm far from an official scorekeeper over here.
I'll trust your judgment there, Nick. And that ball tipped by a Huron player. count it for Skyline. Megan Sackman will come into the game and head back to serve. And just over the net by Fendrick, and that'll drop for another Skyline point. And I think we're kind of on the precipice here, Nick.
Of hopefully nothing gets away from them, or somebody's jumps off to some sort of a giant run, giant lead. I think
exactly.
You might be right.
Could be the Eagles that go on to run. We'll see if Huron can make sure that that doesn't happen. Kind of feel like this is kind of at the point of this game where it may tip one way or the other.
I think you might be right about that, Pete.
And that ball heading to the floor on the Fendrick kill. And another point for the Eagles, and they take the 4-point advantage.
Emotions definitely running high, flying high for the Eagles.
Nice illusion there, Nick.
Thank you. I've been working on that one.
And just an unfortunate play there by Heaton as it just, ball did not come off of her hands and made it difficult for the other Huron players to try and react to that.
Yeah, played that one a little too softly.
Heaton with a better dig that time. And that is long, so point for Huron. A little mini run there by the Eagles, stopped by the River Rats.
And that's what the Rats need to do is kill that emotion, slow things down, and try to chip away, get a point or two here right now.
Another kill by Violetel. Another point for the River Rats.
Looked like Dodge just snuck that one in on the back line.
Dodge with the service ace.
And this setup definitely seems to be what the River Rats want, with Dodge serving, Violetel starting out in the middle, then shifting over to that top edge. This seems where they've had the most success anyway.
And they'll feed Violetel, and on the attempted block, that falls on the Skyline side of the court. And Huron rallying back to make it just within one, and we'll have a timeout on the floor.
Yeah, you gotta see Coach Deanna Day there wanting to put a stop to that, slow things up here, break the rhythm once again.
Like I was talking there, Nick, Skyline with that 5-point advantage, 15-10. And it could have gone either way. Skyline could have gone on that big run and kind of cruised to a sweep here. But Huron rallying back and only down one now.
And that's what excellent teams do. Huron does have a lot of veterans on their team. They've got a bunch of seniors out there. They've been in situations like this before. It's nothing new. It's all about overcoming that adversity and keeping your head on your shoulders, not freaking out, not giving in to those emotions, not getting overrun by the other team's energy. I might be able to fit in another cliche. I'm not sure.
I'll leave the mic open for you. Go right ahead. A nice hit by Richardson for another Huron point, and we're tied at 15. And Violetel with another kill.
Seems like Dodge has been up there for a good six straight points, I believe.
That is correct, Nick. And finally, Fendrick will come back and stop the Huron run with a kill of her own and retie this match, or this game up rather, at 16.
Damage done by the River Rats, though, because as you mentioned, 16-16. Anybody's game here in game 3.
And we have a whistle. That'll be point for Skyline. Net violation by Huron.
Always thought they should have some sort of a horn or something blast when that happens. That would help me.
At Skyline trying to set up for the big kill attempt by Violetel, and she just knocks it over the net, and it falls down for another Huron point.
Sneaky little shot there by Violetel.
And violation by Skyline, so point for Huron. And they retake the lead. Now we have another tight contest on our hands, just like we had in game 1.
Yeah, it sure seems like that game 2 is a little bit of an aberration, really, because that first one was so hotly contested, and here we are again in game 3. Neck and neck, as they say.
And a point for Skyline. Fendrick will head back to serve.
Skyline had a lot of success with her serving in that second game.
Another tip, another net violation by Skyline. Point for Huron. They lead by 2. That serve out of bounds, point Skyline. And a really nice kill there, that by Austin. And we're knotted at 20.
Great second effort by Allie Austin there to tie it up for her team. And they'll go into another timeout, and both sets of coaches are probably going to talk their girls up. Once again, Coach Tony Kummer there discussing everything with his girls. Probably very happy with the rebound from that second game, because it definitely seemed like Huron seemed a little out of it. They could never really get in any grooves in that second game, whereas this game, any runs by Skyline have been matched, and they've done a nice job of punching back when necessary. But still 20-20, anybody's game in this third game.
Skyline looking to close out the River Rats and sweep this match. And Huron trying to get back in it and get a Game 3 win. And point for Skyline.
Great shot there by Serena Cowan.
And that off the Huron player, and another point for Skyline. They lead by 2. Aaron's going to have to rally back here, otherwise it's going to be match point really quickly. Cowan still serving. Nice block there. And that ball is long. It's point for Skyline.
And here's the point for Skyline where you've got that end in sight. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but definitely what you want to do is calm yourself down, still take things one shot at a time.
Well, still a close game here. And that does not get to the net. It falls short. And it's game and match point for the Eagles.
And you can really hear from the Eagle faithful.
Well, even though this may end in a sweep, Nick, you know, the Huron players have really fought really hard in these 3 games.
Oh, nothing to be ashamed of at all. They played very hard.
Now saved by Skyline, and we have a violation and a point for Huron. They stave off elimination for a point.
Live to fight another day, and that's what the coach is going to be telling them. And there you see senior captain Emily Dodge ready to serve it up.
They've scored a lot of points with her serving. And that's going to fall in. Little miscommunication by the Huron players, and Skyline will take it 25-21, and they will sweep this match from the River Rats.
Outstanding match here tonight, Pete. Both, like you said, nothing for Huron to be feel bad about themselves for. They answered rallies, they played back, they had some great matches, but again, home team Skyline Eagles just a little too much right now.
I'd like to thank the people that make this production possible. Our director, Rob Cross, audio and replay by Michael Pylon, graphics by Katsumi Nagai, and our camera guys, Andy Fillmore and John Musial. And for Nick Wisniewski, this is Pete Poyer. Once again, the final, Skyline with the sweep at home, 3-0 here on City TV Sports.